What made your parents completely regret grounding you? Last year, I crashed my dad's Honda into our mailbox, trying to impress this girl from school. I was showing off doing donuts when I misjudged the turn. Dad was furious when he saw the huge dent and scratches. He took my license, confiscated my phone, and locked my car keys in his office safe. "You're walking everywhere for 3 months," he said, face red with anger. "Maybe that'll teach you responsibility." Mom backed him up. "No exceptions. Actions have consequences." The first 2 weeks were horrible. I had to wake up at 6:30 to walk 45 minutes to school while friends drove past me, some honking and laughing. The girls stopped texting back because I couldn't respond for hours. My social life was dead. But here's what made everything worse. My little brother has severe asthma that makes him wheeze constantly. He's 13 and walks super slow because movements make him short of breath. Dad used to drive him to school, but lately had been leaving earlier for some work project. This meant my brother had to take the bus, which picked him up at 6:30 a.m. 2 blocks away. Every morning I watched him through my window, wheezing and coughing as he dragged his heavy backpack. It broke my heart, but I was grounded with no way to help. But then came that rainy Tuesday that changed everything. I woke up to my brother banging on my door, panicked and wheezing badly. The bus broke down. It's stuck on Route 12. I looked outside. It was pouring rain, the kind that soaks you instantly. He was struggling to breathe from running upstairs. "Mom can drive you," I said. He shook his head. "She left at 5:30 for that huge job interview downtown. The promotion one." I knew which interview. Mom had been stressed about money, and this position could change everything. "I can walk," he said, wheezing harder. "It's only 20 minutes. But here's what terrified me. In this weather, with his breathing problems, he wouldn't make it. He'd collapse halfway there. That's when I made a decision that would change everything. I snuck into Dad's office and remembered where he hid the spare safe key. My hands were shaking as I grabbed my car keys and told my brother to get in. "But you're grounded," he whispered, eyes wide. "Dad will kill you." "Let me worry about Dad," I said, terrified. The rain was getting worse as we drove to school. He was quiet, using his inhaler twice during the drive. When we pulled up, he looked at me with grateful eyes. "Thanks." I couldn't breathe thinking about walking in that rain, but as I dropped him off, my phone started buzzing like crazy. Dad had gotten to work and noticed his spare key was moved. He was calling nonstop, getting angrier with each missed call. I drove home, planning to put the keys back and act innocent, but when I pulled in, my heart dropped. Dad's car was already there. He was standing on the porch, arms crossed, looking murderous. His face was red and I could see veins bulging in his neck. I parked and walked toward him, ready for the lecture of my life. "You have exactly 10 seconds to explain yourself," he started, but then his phone rang. It was my brother's school. "This is the nurse calling. Your son is having a severe asthma attack and we need you here immediately. He's asking for you and having trouble breathing." Dad's face went completely white. "What? Is he okay? What happened?" "The attack started during first period. He told us he walked to school in the heavy rain this morning and couldn't catch his breath afterward. We've already called an ambulance just to be safe." Dad looked at me, then at my car, then back at me. I could see him putting all the pieces together, his anger melting into pure confusion. "Wait," I said quietly, my voice shaking. "I drove him to school. He was panicking about the broken bus, and Mom was at her interview. He couldn't walk in that rain, Dad, not with his breathing problems." The silence was absolutely deafening. Dad's anger completely melted into guilt and horror. You drove him?" His voice was barely a whisper. "He would have collapsed walking in that weather. You know how bad his asthma gets when it's cold and wet." We rushed to the hospital together, Dad's hands shaking on the steering wheel. My brother was okay, thank God, but the doctor pulled Dad aside. If he'd walked to school in that rain and cold, this attack could have been much worse. Good thing someone got him there safely and dry. Dad just stared at the floor. That night, without saying a word, Dad handed me back my keys and phone. "I should have thought about your brother when I took your car away." "You did the right thing, son. I'm sorry." Mom agreed when she got home from her interview, which she absolutely nailed. Sometimes breaking the rules is exactly what you should do.